Hey y'all. So I was slumped. So for those of you who y'all experience a lot of witchcraft and stuff, your dreams be attacked, your sleep be attacked, all that. For like the last, really since Sunday, like I just felt it on me, and I'm still learning how to like get out of that quicker. Like when I think I had breakthrough yesterday when he was like, you gotta come higher than that. Like the witchcraft you feel, you gotta come higher than that, gotta come higher. And so today, we had a really good prayer last night. Had a lot of breakthrough and worship yesterday and even this morning. And so I told you I had dreams, and I finally remembered one. I was like, yes. Then not only that, my appetite kind of back. So he calling me out the fasting state, right? Also, last night was the first night I like slept. And I just took a nap too. Like he let me catch up on the sleep. So I want to tell you about the dream I had. And if you're a dreamer, it's been real interesting, like how I'm growing with learning what he's saying to me, what means what, or what signifies what in a dream, and all of that, and the things that used to trip me up in my dreams. They're not tripping me up like that anymore, from the masquerading spirits to why am I seeing it as a different face, like what's going on. And so that's been interesting. I'm in such a place of like, oh wait, like we really are taking it up a notch, huh? And so it's funny, I was just telling somebody, like, it's like we go from letting our dreams like kind of happen, and then you get to a place to where you're mindful in the dreams, like you're actually paying attention to, like, I would hear Stephanie say that. I'm like, what is she talking about? But like for me, that's actually starting to happen. And so I'm more mindful in my dream state. I am more like aware, even if it feels like it's not an outer body experience type of dream, but okay, locking in and like paying attention to what's coming out of my mouth, paying attention to what's going on in the dreams. And I prayed that I would get more mindful in my dreams, like I would be aware of what was going on so I could remember them better. And it's the same thing going on with my cousin that I talked to. Like dreams don't just happen to us anymore, right? Like I hope that's making sense. It's like we're actually a part of the dreams now, right? And so the one I had last night, I first want to say one of the things I've noticed, that if it looks like I'm back on Auburn's campus, or if I dream that I'm in my middle school, okay, he's taking me back, okay? A lot of the times it's because there's something happening in there. Either I needed to release something that I picked up on back then, or insecurity that came in back then, because I used to dream that I was peeing in my primary middle school, because it was K-8. I used to always have dreams in there where like weird stuff was going on, and I would be like peeing in that bathroom. That finally stopped. I had to pray specific prayers, asking that God would show me what things were on my mind, right? Show me what it was that entered in back then, what I was releasing, praying against different really demonic activity that would be trying to make me go back there, like all types of stuff, right? So that was significant. Now it's more so I go back to Auburn, right? And I ain't been to school there, right? 5 years. So when I'm back there, I'm always, those dreams, I'm definitely more aware in the dreams where I'm like, why am I here? Because I don't even go here no more. And it's not a full blown, like it is straight up Auburn's campus, but it feels like that. And a lot of the time it reminds me of the dorm. Now, in my other videos where I know I'm like up in heaven and I'm like, it feels like a campus, those don't look like Auburn. They're nothing about them reminds me of Auburn. These other dreams, it's like either I'm right outside of the dorm, and it's crazy because I'm like, why am I here? I'm in the parking garage across the street. And so this is where the dream I had last night is going to come into play. A lot of different things were happening, but the biggest two things that I remember this morning, I'm going to talk about counterfeit covering, and then separate soldier. Come on, Holy Spirit. A separate soldier. Okay, so let's hop in. Pick up right here where I know I'm in this parking garage, and I am with this dude, and it's not at this point in the dream I'm wondering where my kingdom spouse is, but it's kind of like I said, you kind of let the dream play out. Like, why am I dreaming this? And this is the stuff I had to remember this morning. Like, okay, so I'm with him. I'm in his car. He had a very nice car, like basically like one of the football players would have drove at school, because I stayed in the athletic dorm. So, they had all the nice, like, cars, like the sporty type cars, like a Challenger, like a Charger, like a Mustang or something. So this dude had a car like that. And I was riding with him in his car to go park in the parking garage. And in the dreams, the parking garage always connects to the dorm where like the living part, right? Not like in a mall, like how the mall does. Like, you can go park, but you can walk into the mall at different entrances on different levels. That's not how the dorm actually is in real life, right? But in the dreams, it's always like that. So I'm with him. I am noticing different things. At some point, because honestly, y'all, I don't remember how I ended up with him. I don't. Like, if I remember, I'll post the community post. But I'm with him, and at some point, my jacket gets dirty. I had a denim jacket, and it gets dirty. And so he gives me his jacket. And then I remember we go up to, like, the 12th floor. And in the dream, I'm like, oh, the parking decks got higher? Like, when did they add more floors to the parking deck? Because when I went to school in the parking deck at that dorm, it was only like 3 levels, maybe. Like, it was like an underneath at the ground level, and then one above that. Like, it wasn't like no huge parking deck, right? Like, check this out. As we're going up the parking deck, I'm seeing different things, right? I think God was just giving me insight on my life. But when we got to where he had parked, that's what I said. I was like, when did they get all of these floors? Like, when did they add on to it? And so we walked from the parking deck over to the living part, and I was like with him going to his room. But we get inside, we're talking to other dudes. It wasn't no girls. We talking to other dudes in the actual dorm part of the dream, right? And I was like, we gotta go back to the car because I left my something. I don't remember if it was the jacket at this point that I had left or whatever, but I left it and I knew I still needed to get it. And so he was like, okay, we can go back to the car. At this moment, it's where I'm me in the dream, but I'm still aware of the things that I'm doing in the dream, right? Like, it wasn't an outer body experience, okay? I was about to add in a note, but I don't think it would have made sense. So when we got in the dorm, like the living part, I remember elevator. I was watching it, and then this just came back to me. There was an elevator, and I remember being on the elevator with him and at least one other dude, but I feel like he parked higher than where he was actually living. And so that would mean when we walked across, or either where we had to go down on the elevator, I feel like we went down on the elevator and then we went up on the elevator. And that's significant. Okay? Every round with God goes higher and higher, because I was just looking at my hands and I was like, we were going up every round with God goes higher and higher. So it would be going back to old thinking and old ways to fall for a counterfeit covering. In the dream, it's like he never really even said like he was trying to be with me or nothing like that. Like, I was just with him. But because he was like, he had gave me his jacket, he had was being nice or whatever, he was mindful of the different things I was saying, he was like, yeah, let's go back. And when we were walking back, I had kind of like reached for his hand, even though he was not reaching for my hand like that, okay? And so because I was being so I wasn't even being aggressive. It was like I was down with it, like, because I was down with it, he was kind of down with it. And I knew in the dream, like, why am I reaching for his hand? Because, like, this isn't my man. Like, you get what I'm saying? And so we all, like, booed up, for a lack of better terms at that point. Like, he walking with his arm around me, like, you know, different stuff. I remember thinking in a dream, like, what you doing, sis? You know? And so now we like all booed up. We're walking back out. We get back to the parking garage. We like at the top, and I run into this dude. One of the boys I first ever had a crush on, right? Mind you, this other boy in the dream, I don't know him. Like, and when I say like his spirit was not familiar to me, nothing, like, I don't know who he is. But today, let me tell you what happened. I had deja vu, and I knew what God was telling me, because we was literally just talking about this. And so sometimes stuff is just confirmed via my dreams. And so I see this boy, like one of the first boys I ever had a crush on, like ninth grade. And he like, what's up, Meg? And I remember I was like, hey. And I gave him like 2 fist bumps. And then he started walking with me and the dude. But at this point, I was like, I didn't want it to look like we was booed up, even though I was cool with it looking like we was booed up, right? I was trying to create like distant space between us. I'm having deja vu when the other dude walked up, right? And so at this point, we're all walking. This is when it starts to shift and God started showing me something else, right? We're walking, we're high, we're high, right? We're on the highest floor. And I'm noticing just like all the cars, all the people are doing. I noticed this man talking to these kids, and I was like, why is he talking to the kids? Like, this is something weird going on in the back of a truck. Like, I remember peeping that. I remember seeing people do extremely explicit things, weird things in their cars. And so the dudes I was with, they were like, oh, look at them, or like, oh my God, no, they getting it in, ain't it? Like, you know, like it was like a real life dream. Like, what is going on over there? And in that area where all of that was happening, the cars were so extremely congested, right? And as we continue to walk, I say again, like, why is it so high? And I was like, who parks up here? It's in that moment that my 9th grade crush is like, well, apparently your dad does. And I was like, my dad? So I look ahead, like, and this one, it really started looking like the parking garage here in Huntsville at the mall. But I look ahead, and sure enough, my dad is parked high on the high level in my mama's car. I know that in the dream, because in the dream I was like, why is he in the Range Rover? Like, you got to pay attention to the stuff you remember. And I was like, why is he in the Range Rover? And he was putting on his uniform. So at school, you would have thought it was Veterans Day or something, because it was like we were going back there, or we were going there because they were like honoring soldiers or something like that. And in real life, my dad is retired military, right? And so he's like off secluded, trying to put on his uniform, right? Like my mama windows tinted and all that. But then he's like, this one got real crazy. He's like an angel. Like, he had 2 wings, but he had like this uniform, and you know, these dreams you have, like, this ain't got no point. Like, what is going on? He was like an angel. He had these 2 wings. He was like a decorated soldier, but he had wings. Like, my daddy was like a whole angel in the dream. And I remember looking like, because it went from him getting dressed in the car to him being like up somehow on the building, like this big old like angel. And I was like, what is going on? Like, that's what I was thinking in the dream. So they were like, I mean, your daddy up here. And so we walk, and my dad comes and meet us. And now he's like my regular dad, right? Like, real life, my daddy. Do y'all know? And at this point, my denim jacket is back in. Oh my God. Y'all, my denim jacket is back in my hand. Let me tell y'all why. Jacket is now clean. But do y'all remember in my Protect Your Baby video dream? And I was like, I was scared my baby was on the buttons of the denim jacket, because for whatever reason, I remember that detail, and I usually don't remember stuff like that. And I was like, why did I have on a jean jacket? I felt like that in that dream, which I just remembered that detail in that dream. And I felt like that when I woke up this morning, like, why I keep seeing a denim jacket? Okay, but wait. My dad, the first thing out of his mouth was, why do you have on that man's jacket? And I was like, oh, mine was dirty. Like, I was just putting it on. Like, he wasn't mean about it, but that was the first thing out of his mouth. Why do you have on that man's jacket? Like, another man's jacket. Why do you have that on? And I was like, well, mine right here, you know. And I knew I was going to have to take that one off. And I wasn't upset about it or nothing. I just knew I was going to take that other dude's off. Mind y'all, I don't know who he was. And put mine on, right? And so that was the kind of conversation that was had, and that was pretty much the dream. And so when I woke up, I was like, I'm at a point now where I know that's covering. And we were just talking about this, like, y'all don't understand, like 2 days ago. And so let's start with, well, I already kind of broke that down, like the fact that I even was somewhere and it looked like Auburn's campus, the fact that I was like, when did y'all add all these levels, all that. The last few days, God was telling me to come higher, okay? Now, in this dream, I don't think it was insecurities he was getting at. That's why I was getting back to Auburn, but it was the mistakes that I had made in the past, right? With trying to put on somebody else's covering. If you're not my husband, I have no business having your jacket on because that's not my covering. I need to have on either my jacket, that's from Jesus, right? His covering, or either the covering from my spouse, which goes back to the protect the bride word, right? That dream, it was shooting, right? But I said either Jesus is always covering me or celebrity bay in a dream. That one of them was covering me. And I kid you not, as soon as my daddy walked up to me in the dream, he was like, why you got that jacket on? And I was like, and I already knew. Okay, but let's get back to this highness and the stuff we saw going on. And the fact that I noticed that all the cars was congested with all the weird stuff. It was so many people, right? And I was like, God, why was my daddy, if you're saying that was wickedness, why was my daddy up there? You get what I'm saying? Like, what is going on? My daddy's wicked. Are y'all dreamers? Like, you know. And so he was telling me that did represent the wickedness in high places. You know, that's a verse. Like, I'm telling you, all the cars was congested, okay? But it was so many of them. Like, it was a group and all that craziness was going on. But here go my daddy, all on his lonesome, high up, but by himself, separate of all that. A highly decorated soldier, okay? Okay. And he was in my mama car. We know my mama represent the Holy Spirit. And I noticed that in the dream, like, why is he in her car? Right? And we know cars represent like life and all of that, right? And so he sings this song actually at church, Two Wings. And I probably need to go listen to it, but it makes me emotional. We gonna get our two wings. But that's truly how I've been feeling. And if you paid attention to the video I said earlier, like, I'm in the front line. So the fact that he was showing it to me as a decorated soldier, right? And I told you it was kind of like that was honoring those people wherever we were at. But a lot of the times you may feel alone, you may feel secluded, you may feel separate. Because you're separate from the world. That was the world. That was the spiritual wickedness. Y'all can't see my hand emotions. That was the world that I was seeing. All the congested cars. They were really close together and they was doing all that weird stuff. That was the spiritual wickedness that runs the world. The people in the world, of the world, that are of the world. But here go my daddy, a decorated soldier, separate, in but not of. Okay? I said, God, I get it. Thank you for the illustration of my dream. That's how I have been feeling anyways. Come on up a little higher. You feel the wickedness up here. You do. You do. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? Spiritual wickedness in high places. Coming up a little higher. And even in you coming higher is separate. You're not of the world. That's why he wasn't part over there with them. He was worried about his soldier stuff. Completely separate of all of that. I hope that's being illustrated. I don't really think I need to say too much more about that. Let's go back to the counterfeit covering and even how I had seen, like, somebody I used to like. Why was I even walking with them? What was I doing? And I knew that in the dream. I was like, I was doing it though. Letting it play out. Like I said, I feel like he was showing me my past mistakes. But then today I was replying to somebody in a DM and I was like, you were the person from my dream. Like, it hit me so much later in the dream when God has already made his stance on some stuff clear. You're not doing that until you're married. Nobody's helping you except your husband. Oh. Okay. Why you talking to somebody you used to like? Why you doing all this and that's not your kingdom spouse? Why you even entertaining it? Put your jacket back on. Right? covering. That's Jesus. So your own jacket. Mind y'all, I had this denim jacket on in the other dream where I had told y'all I had walked away from my man. Not on no weird stuff. I was just trying to see what's going on with the setup. But I kept worrying the baby was going to hit the button on the jean jacket. I remembered that detail. It's the same jacket I had in a dream last night. He's like, put your jacket back on. What are you doing? It wasn't like that, but I knew it was like that. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, why you don't have your jacket on? Like, he was... And I knew I was about to put it on. In the moment, it might have been cool to have that other man's jacket on because mine was dirty. It needed to get cleaned up. And I don't even know how that happened. Like, I just remember I had wasted something on it. Like, I knew that. But then, like, so all of a sudden, when my daddy asked me where the jacket was at, here it is. And it's sparkling and, like, fine. Like, ain't nothing on it. It might have been cool to walk with him for a minute, to act all cute and booed up for a minute. That ain't your spouse. And even think about how I ran up on the other dude. Holy Spirit, all of a sudden, I see this other dude I used to like, and I'm acting brand new with this one, right? Ooh, distance. We can't be looking all booed up. That's when I was out here for the streets, child. You ain't for the streets no more. And that don't happen, like... I'm solid. Like, it ain't nobody finna have me acting brand new concerning this man. I'm having deja vu right now, but ain't nobody finna have me acting brand new. We is booed up. We linked up. We sold up. Shawty. Okay? Like, stop. Surprise, shawty. So when I woke up, I was like, ooh, that was intense. I texted my mama. She was like, well, that was loaded. That's usually what happens if I haven't been able to remember in a while, or if I've had really good, like, peaceful sleep. And I mean peaceful because I, like, prayed, like, you know, prayed. And then he gave me a dream like that to either confirm or show me something new. So... Counterfeit covering, and you is a separate soldier. Don't be tempted to do like what everybody else doing, because it was truly a hot mess. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, I didn't understand what was going on. Like, why everybody over here wilding? And then separate soldier. Now, there was something else that happened in the dream, like before we even noticed my dad. It was like they was carrying off this different soldier. I don't know if he was hurt, wounded, or what, but it was like the other people was two other people, or another person was carrying him. But don't fall for that. Don't fall for no counterfeit covering. Don't do it. So I pray like always, the Holy Spirit blows on y'all, blows through the phone, moves through my words, right? And you receive what you need to receive about a dream, because it's going to be different for different people. I am just supposed to share, okay? And then my interpretation for how it really... I don't even really like them like that. Like, it was like they were just there type of thing. He offered a jacket. I took it. Oh, you know, you're being nice, you know. Hold my hand. Put your arm around me. Let's be booed up. You know, just for the moment. That's what it felt like. Just for the moment. That's a counterfeit. Just for the moment. It is not long-lasting, long-standing at all. You want your real deal covering, like what I was talking about in the Me and You Against the World video. You want your covering in your kingdom spouse, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want no just for the moment type of thing. Just for a season type of, don't fall for it. Do not fall for it, okay? So I love y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.